Hey, this is Jack and Clayton, and this video is for you if you've had the problem of men only seeing you as a hookup. This is a common complaint that we receive from women. Why do men only see me as a hookup? So let's get into it.
So when we hear this question, it gets us really curious because number one, we can't actually change how men see you, right? There's way too many of them out there, and we have no control over another person's perception of us. But what do we have control over? Well, we have control over how we see ourselves. So the question that we would want to throw back over to you is, do you only see yourself as a hookup in relationship to men?
Yeah, and I want you to get curious about that. That might be a little hard to hear. It might be like, why are you putting this back on me? This is like a dude problem.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, but just get curious about that, because our experience of this, individually, is that oftentimes if this is really prominent for a woman, there's a way that she's putting herself forward that is really as a sexual person first and foremost, right? It's almost like you're seeing your own value in your sexuality. And of course, there is some value there. And there's like a whole plethora of who you really are that you may not be bringing to the table in your dating.
And this is not to put any blame over on you and say, okay, so you're the one that is causing men to think this way. It's for you to notice the places in the dynamic where if you are going on a number of dates and this is how you continually end up feeling, is that you're only being valued as a hookup, how are you consenting to, allowing, or participating in this dynamic or this experience that you're actually wanting to change? So the whole purpose of this is to bring the power back in your lap so you can start to show up in a way that allows you to be appreciated for all of your parts.
Totally, yeah. So this isn't to say that there aren't men out there who primarily look at women in this way. Of course there are, and you've probably already known them in your life. But we're saying if you have to participate in that game with a guy for that to be ongoingly true for you.
Yes.
Right? So the more you value your realness, your authenticity, the part of you that isn't performing, just the sort of richer realness of who you are, the less that game with a man is going to be of any interest to you. So it'd almost be like after a first date, you'd be like, yep, I have no interest in pursuing things with this kind of man. Or you might notice that as you start to reveal more of who you are in your dating, that actually you just start to attract and magnetize a different type of man that really wants to know you and value you beyond just the hookup potential that he could see.
Yeah, absolutely. I talk with potential clients sometimes, and to really get inside their mind and to understand how they're seeing themselves in relation to dating and relationships, I will ask them the question, what is your value in a relationship?
Wow.
What is your value in relationship to a man?
Question.
Right? And if you just even think about that for a moment, right? What is it that you offer that is of value to a man? And now, it's a hard question to answer, and if you just came up with something immediately, I'd say just search deeper and begin to look. Like look into, what is it that you can provide that is beyond your sexuality, that is of value in a relationship that would have you come off as priceless and irreplaceable. I think many women that have this concern about being seen as a hookup, it's very difficult to answer that question. Right.
Yeah, you're almost inviting bringing more attention back to yourself, getting to know yourself better, getting to know the sort of deeper aspect of you, right? So that actually that's what you're starting to connect from, and that's what you're starting to value in yourself. It's sort of like we teach people what to value, right? The more you value something in yourself, the easier it is for other people to value it. If you really aren't valuing the authenticity of who you are, it's probably much harder for a guy to value that.
Right.
There's one other piece that I want to bring into this, which is it's sexualization, sexualizing emotional needs. So just in case this is relevant for you, there can be a propensity for people to sexualize other needs that they have. So you may have a need to be loved. Of course, we all do. You may have a strong need to be loved. You may have a strong need to be liked. You may have a strong need to be approved of. And it might be that those needs, it's almost like your sexuality is coming over and sitting on top of them.
It's the vehicle. It's the most readily available vehicle to meet those needs.
Totally. Yeah, if I have sex with him and he likes it, then maybe he'll like me and maybe he'll approve of me. And that might not be what your conscious mind is saying, but just at the subconscious level,
noticing that.
You might want to get curious. Is there some other thing that's going on here that I'm actually looking for validation, and I know that one of the ways that I feel validated is if I'm sexually pleasing to a man. So I would encourage you to open that up and get curious.
Another way to even look at it too is just, if you think about it, what are some other ways to get those needs met, right? If there's a connection need that's wanting to be met, if there is a a vulnerability or an emotional, some type of emotional sharing that you're wanting to experience with a man. What are some ways that you can show up on a date? What is it that you can reveal about yourself? What are some conversation topics that you can have with a guy? What are some experiences that you can create on a date that allow you to actually connect with a guy in that way, so you're not going perhaps to the automatic default, which is, okay, well, I want to make sure that we're connecting, so I'm going to have sex with the guy.
Yeah. So one thing you could actually practice if this pattern has been true for you, or if you don't want men to continue to see you as a hookup, is to actually set some kind of aim or standard of a number of dates that you would go on with a man before you would consider to be sexual with him. Right? Now that might be 5 dates, that could even be 8 or 10 or whatever number really is relevant for you, and practice that. Because that, in a way, clears up this question. If you're like, okay, I'm going to see this guy 5 or 10 times before I even have sex with him, then I'm not just a hookup, right? Because we haven't hooked up.
Yeah, and perhaps also shifting the question from the silent question that might be in the back of your head of, does he find me attractive? Does he want to sleep with me? Letting go of that question, turning the volume down on that question, and turning the volume up on a question such as, I wonder what new and creative ways we can connect. I wonder who this person really is. I wonder what ways I can really be myself around this guy and reveal other dimensions of my personality to him. And just even asking those questions has your brain beginning to look for these new vectors to actually create that relationship with the man in front of you.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely right. So the last piece I just want to say on this is, if you are struggling to see that a man values you or values these other parts of you, these non-sexual parts of you, don't imagine that by having sex with you, he's suddenly going to value those more.
Good point.
So it's actually a really good filter. Like if he doesn't see you and value all these other things you bring to the table, sex is unlikely to change that.
In fact, it's actually probably going to cement the insecurity even more. Yeah. So we actually have an invitation for you. We'd love to invite you to a webinar that Jack and I are putting on called The 3 Keys to Attract and Keep a High Quality Man. It's in the link below this description. And also, Jack has got a new YouTube channel that we want to invite you to as well. It's personal development, it's dating, it's relationships. The link is below this video as well in the description. Make sure that you subscribe to his channel. And do you have anything you want to say about the webinar?
I would say that the key 2 that we share in this webinar, Secret 2, is exactly related to what we're talking about in this video, which is all about how to value yourself without falling into playing a particular role with a man that has you go unconscious. So we fully dimensionalize this in the webinar. It's your chance to actually notice, maybe I'm playing an unconscious role with men that I don't even know I'm playing. And if I stop playing that role, the quality of men that I attract and the kind of interactions they want with me would be very different. So if any of this video has resonated, I really encourage you to subscribe to the webinar. You can just click the link, find a time that works for you, and we will see you there.